Hey everybody, it's Melissa. In this video, I'm going to be talking about two fragrances that I really used to love, and one of them I love even more. The other one I hardly ever use anymore, and you could say it's because of Maceration, but I'll give you what I think as this video continues, all right? So the two fragrances that I'm showcasing are Tuxedo by YSL and Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid. And real quick, y'all, just look at the dents of these bottles, all right? Just look at them, all right? I will say though, Tuxedo, I haven't really used this often. I actually threw this on a couple months ago. I think it was back in November because I was like, you know what? Let me see if this still hits the same. And honestly, it smells good in the opening, but for some reason, it just does not smell the way that I remember it. But here's the crazy part, right? When I got COVID a couple years ago, around October, and I lost my sense of smell, but then when I regained it, everything smelled the same except this fragrance. And y'all know how much I was talking about Tuxedo nearly in almost every single video, to a point that it was irritating a lot of you, right? But it's like, what's going on? Because with Tuxedo, for me, I always remember it as this sweet kind of bourbon vanilla fragrance. And it was just like a very sexy scent. And yes, there was some patchouli in it, but I never found it to be a patchouli dominant scent, right? But then after COVID, when I was smelling it, it smelled like it was like burning leaves. And it became very patchouli dominant. And I'm like, you know what? Let me kind of shake this off. Maybe it's me, right? But when I would smell like the other fragrances, such as Elysium that I was wearing all the time as well, I was telling myself, this still smells exactly the same. All the other scents smelled exactly the same, except for this one. So I have to say, I really haven't been using Tuxedo. And I know that the videos I've made for it a couple years back are still popping off. So I still get DMs from people saying that they bought Tuxedo off my recommendation. And I'm absolutely still going to recommend this if you're looking for a beautiful masculine fragrance. But for me, it's just not doing it. It's now just in my collection. I'm not going to get rid of it because hopefully I come around to it again. But just the way that it's developed, I'm not really satisfied with that. I miss the way it smelled before, because when it would just kind of dry down on me, I'm like, this is not the Tuxedo I remember. So it's been a big letdown. So for all the people that are still asking me about Tuxedo, no, I don't wear it anymore. But who knows, maybe I will try to recirculate and wear it again. But a fragrance that's done really well in terms of maceration is Salt and Pepper. Y'all, this, and I'll probably make another video right after this about my most used fragrances in my collection. This is going to be in it. I mean, I probably don't even have to say anything the second that you look at the dent, but it's just slowly been going down, and I love this fragrance. The crazy part is, I didn't even really know what maceration was until y'all were the ones to tell me about it, and you would say it specifically for the more affordable fragrances. Like, I remember some of the Club de Nuit fragrances, y'all would tell me, just let it sit and for a couple months and then retry it again and it should smell better. And for me, typically when I unbox a fragrance and then I smell it, I like it or I don't, right? I'm not somebody that says, you know what, let me give this some time and I'll check back in 2 weeks to see if I enjoy it. Because during that time, I already have fragrances that I love that are at the top of my list. So I'm going to keep wearing those, and I'm not going to keep an eye on the one that I found subpar, right? But with Salt and Pepper, you already know the story. In case you're newer to my channel, my ex actually got me a sample of Salt and Pepper. What happened is she bought a bottle of a fragrance, and it came with 2 samples from this brand called Precious Liquid. And she calls me and she's like, have you ever heard of Salt and Pepper? And I think Oud Symphony was the other one. And I was just like, no, like I haven't. And the thing is with Oud Symphony, she honestly hated that the first 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden she ended up blind buying that fragrance after that dry down because she fell in love with the fragrance, right? But she was like, I'm going to send you a sample of Salt and Pepper. So I was like, okay. And I remember I received it. I picked it up from the post office. I'm in the parking lot of this Subway because I was going to go in to get some cookies. And she said, you got to open it right now and tell me what you think. So I take the sample, I apply it. Nothing too crazy. I'm like, all right, it's a masculine scent. And we ended the call. I go into Subway. 10 minutes later, I come back out to my car. And I'm like, something smells really, really good. I'm like, is that me? And then I smell it again and I'm like, oh shit. This is what she's talking about. So immediately I FaceTime her right then and there. She already has that knowing smirk on her face and she's like, it hits, right? And I was like, this thing is so good. And she was like, I'm telling you, that is super sexy. So for a time, I never even had that bottle of salt and pepper. I was just using that sample. And then I received like another sample of it, but I didn't know anything about Precious Liquid. So that was my introduction to the Precious Liquid fragrances. And then like the brand saw that I was talking about their stuff a lot. They're like, we'd love to send you a bottle. And then it's been history ever since. But I've enjoyed this from the jump, maybe 10 minutes after the jump. But then this kind of sat in my collection for a bit because I was using Elysium and Aqua Oud more. And I still love those fragrances. And then I just randomly one day was like, you know what, let me try on Salt and Pepper again because I did love this scent. And it just like, I fell in love with it even more. I said, hold on a sec, why does this smell even better? It smells more refined. It just smells overall way sexier than I remember. And it was already a sexy fragrance. I said, maybe it's just because I haven't had my nose on it in a minute, right? And it kind of just blew me away in that regard. But I've been wearing it again recently. And y'all, this thing just, it hits so right. I wore this around some women over the past week. They've been loving it as well. And honestly, both of these, even with my experience with Tuxedo, it was very similar. I was getting so many compliments on this fragrance. Again, still haven't worn it as of recently, but with Salt and Pepper, and I say this every video I make, the only people that have told me negative things about this fragrance were just men online. And to keep it 100% real with you, I don't give a fuck about that. Like if 20 dudes online are telling me they hate Salt and Pepper, that does not outweigh the 20 girls in real life that are like, you smell so sexy. The real life interactions are going to win every time. And like I said, this is a fragrance for the ladies. Like if you want to smell good to women, this is the sort of stuff you wear. So why would I care about what a guy thinks of the fragrance if I'm not trying to attract that guy? You know what I'm saying? Of course, bottom line, and I don't even know why I have to justify, like explain this, but some people, it goes over their head. Of course, you wear what you like. That's bottom line. And I happen to love this fragrance, and it's just even more of a cherry on top that when I wear it around women, they love it even more than I do. So this fragrance gets me some of the most feral reactions out of everything in my collection. I would say this is probably the #1 spot. Because Elysium is my fun, like everyday signature scent. It's not like sexy, 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 but this one is. And again, specifically only for women. I'm not talking about this in a general sense like Elysium is. Only for women with Salt and Pepper. And it just bangs, all right? So this has kind of reclaimed its spot as my favorite Precious Liquid scent as of right now, even though I do love Rose Blanche. But as far as YSL scents go, I do love the new one, La Viade. Really, really good, y'all. That's a sexy rose fragrance. It's fresh. There's a little bit of a hint of greenness to it in the dry down that I was really rocking with, actually. That one I find to be a little bit more feminine, but I know that there are guys that have it, and I know they smell fantastic, all right? But La Nuit de l'Homme, still amazing from this brand. I tried Black Opium Le Parfum, fantastic. Same with Libre Le Parfum. But yeah, y'all, these scents, let me know in the comment section if you have any fragrances in your collection that macerated well, or the way that they kind of just sat in your collection went a different direction where you were kind of disappointed and you're like, how come this doesn't smell the way I remember it? And this is just me assuming that you are storing them properly. Like these fragrances aren't in your bathroom when like you're taking a shower and the heat is already kind of messing with it. They're not staying in your car. So for the people that have it properly stored, let me know. I'll put a discount code for Salt and Pepper in case y'all want to take advantage of that and support the channel. Again, you guys don't have to do that. I know whenever people hear a discount code, they get very like finicky and they're just like, oh, you're trying to sell something, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I think the proof shows for itself. I've made videos on fragrances from this brand that I don't like, that I hate. So just buy wherever you're comfortable. If you want to support, that's totally cool. If you don't, that's completely fine as well, you know. But these two brands, amazing. One of the best designer brands, one of the best niche brands, in my personal opinion. All right. And again, this is not a sponsored video, but I would love to have a sponsored video. I would love to run a sponsored video in 2024. All right. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.